Okay. So hello everyone. This is Nurhan Suidki, the English gamer once again, and welcome to IELTS Talks podcast. And today we have our first episode from the podcast. And today we have a very special guest, Mr. Anas Ghazi from Jordan. Welcome, Mr. Anas.
Welcome, everyone.
Okay, so as I told you guys on IELTS podcast, we have different guests from all around the globe. First of all, we're going to have IELTS trainers, okay, from different countries with different backgrounds and cultures. Also, we're going to have candidates who got band 7 or more, 7, 8, or even 9. And also, we're going to have trainers, IELTS trainers, who teach the course How to Teach IELTS. And today we have Mr. or Dr. Anas Ghazi, and let's just introduce him first of all.
Yeah, first of all, I'm so glad to have you all here today. And thank you, Ms. Nurhan, for having me in this small meeting.
Okay,
yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay, yeah, you're so welcome as well. So firstly, I used to work as a university lecturer in Saudi Arabia. I used to teach some classes in English language. And I had this passion, for example, to immigrate to Canada, to the USA, to Australia, something like that. So this is how my story with IELTS began. So I started preparing myself, doing a lot of tests, more than you can imagine, until I got the score of 8. And yeah, I started my application and so on. But unfortunately, my age was a little bit of an obstacle
Yeah.
that prevented me from proceeding with that goal. And after I left my job in Saudi Arabia and I went back to Jordan, I decided to start my own IELTS business. Yeah, and start giving classes and passing my knowledge, how to succeed, how to score plus. The main goal for the courses I gave, is to achieve 7+ in IELTS in each skill at least.
Okay, that's great.
This is in short, yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Anas, how long have you been teaching IELTS?
So you can say I've started in 2018, so 5 years so far, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And can you tell me about the nationalities you have in your courses? What nationalities do you have?
Well, mainly I teach for Arabs because I have a lot of questions in Arabic language, and there are a lot of things that you need sometimes to explain for students, especially who are not who do not have a solid background about English language in Arabic. So mainly maybe more than 70% or 80% of my students are from Jordan, and I also have some students, maybe a little bit, not so much, from Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, Emirates, Egypt, and maybe 2 or 3. Some students also from Palestine, Lebanon. Yeah, I'm talking about through the last 5 years of my career as an IELTS instructor. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So can you tell me about the problems that Arabs have when they study for IELTS?
Well, there are a wide range of problems for students. Maybe the most common one is that many students want to score or to get the aimed score in a very short period of time. And I think this is a problem. They are being unrealistic about how much effort, how much time they should invest to get the score they aim for. For example, if you want to jump from 5 to 7 in IELTS, this is not something that is done in 2 weeks or even a month. Okay, you need to give yourself some time. You need to put a lot of effort. Okay, so some students have this kind of false idea that some IELTS instructors have some kind of overnight solutions, like a magic spell that's he's going to tell you like some kind of a super trick that you can boom your score from 5. The next morning you will wake up being able to achieve 7.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the main problem. A lot of students do not also puts a lot of efforts. They spend a lot of time. For example, some people, I know some students who have been studying for 1, 2, or maybe 3 years for the IELTS, but not a real studying. They do not invest real time. For example, each month they, for example, do like or solve one test or 2 tests and something like that. And they keep complaining why I have no like I cannot see any progress. Well, you need to do like for me, I advise my students to at least do like 40 listening full tests, 40 reading tests. You need to write at least like 50 essays in writing. You need to spend hours in speaking. It's just not something that you for example learn about some tricks, some strategies, and that's it. No, you need to apply it. You need to invest a lot of time and effort to achieve the score you want.
That's right. Actually, students like to have like maybe easy steps, you know. They don't want to dedicate time or effort. That's true. So let me ask you another question.
Yes.
In your opinion, which section is the most challenging for Arabs?
Well, I'm gonna say the writing for sure. Yeah, they're not all for Arabs, but I think for all students, the writing section is quite difficult. You know, for the listening section, there are like 5 types of questions, and it's mostly I see from my perspective, it's the easiest one. Okay, you can like and the whole test takes like the listening test takes like 30 minutes. So you can every day like do 2 or 3 listening tests, and you're gonna be improved a little bit quick. For the reading as well, reading you need to like answer 3 for the academic version of the test. You need to answer 3 long reading passages, but at least as much practice you do, you can acquire it. While when it comes to the writing section, there are a lot of points to cover, and the evaluating criteria, as you know, like covers for like
4 criteria.
4 criteria, like you know, like task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical source, grammatical range and accuracy. And students usually have like different kinds of weakness in some of them weak in grammar and lexical source. They don't know about to understand the question sometimes, and many students do not write English. If you want to like enhance, build up, okay, your promote your writing skill, you need to write a lot. Many students listen. They listen to like music in English, movies, series. Sometimes they read books, especially students who study in English, okay, in many majors and many subjects, scientific or even like in humanitarian colleges. But the problem, some students, or maybe many of them, practice some kind of speaking. Not maybe intensive speaking, but they sometimes speak a little bit of English. But the problem with writing is that it's difficult. Mostly, very few, or maybe none. I'm not going to say none, but a very small percentage of students who write in English. So
that's right.
The writing needs a lot of time to be improved.
And I also want to say something, that if you want to be a good writer, of course you have to be a good reader, because some students they just translate from Arabic to English. So then we have poor grammar and poor structure. So this is also a problem.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Okay. So another question is, how much time does a candidate need to dedicate to go up from 5 to 7, or 5.5 to 7? What do you think?
Well, I think I'm gonna put it like this: try to jump like a half point every time. Don't like try to jump a 1.5 like points at once. Now that's not realistic. Okay, so firstly, try to get, if your score is something about 5.5, about 5, try to get 6 firstly. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Right.
you need to work in the points, your weaknesses, to maybe to work with an instructor to evaluate your papers, your speaking, maybe to point out some problems in the listening or reading scale. And when you are able to score 6, now look at 6.5 and work on that.
Yeah.
So I guess it's gonna take, like, if you dedicate, like, if you are doing practicing for 1 or 2 hours daily, it's gonna take like 1 month to 1 or maybe 2 months to jump this, like, half points. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a very important point here, is that progressing from 6 to 6.5 is easier than progressing from 6.5 to 7.
Yeah, that's right.
Because 7 is like a little bit higher criteria. It's a different, like, criteria. These people who, like, gets C1, okay, who wants to achieve C1. And, like, if you, like, manage or deal with some problems, if you have a score of 6, if you deal with some problems, you can jump to 6.5. But from 6.5 to 7, you need to be almost good in everything. No frequent errors. This is the most important.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Important points. Yeah. Okay. You don't have to produce any frequent errors in any kind of criteria.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So, Dr. Anas, can you tell us about the best sources to prepare for IELTS?
Well, from my perspective, I think you should take them skill by skill. Don't study everything all together. No, you're gonna, like, distract yourself. The benefits are gonna be, like, little. So the strategy I followed actually is to focus on take them one by one. So I started with the listening scale. I mastered the listening scale. Then I moved to the reading scale, then the writing, then the speaking. And if it's difficult for you, like, to master the whole skill at once, like the writing skill, okay, so divide it to small pieces and start, okay, working on each one. So, for example, for the essay, in general, in the essay, we write 4 paragraphs, introductions, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Okay, so my advice to students, at the beginning, don't write full essays. Okay, just focus on introductions. For example, like, take 20, 30 topics and just write introductions. When you master the introduction, it's going to be easier for you then to proceed to body paragraphs. And if you master the introduction with body paragraphs, you almost master the essays, because the second body paragraph is almost written such as like the first body paragraph. And the conclusion, you are just summarizing the main ideas, is going to be like an easy part. So my advice is not to take everything all together.
Yeah,
just
I
like
guess also it
take
can
it
be
step
applied
by step.
to, yeah, that's right. Also, it can be also applied to different sections like listening or reading. For example, in listening, you don't need to, like, finish one test at a time. You can just focus on one type of a question until you just master it, and then go to the next type and so on. Yeah.
Yes, especially in the as because of, yeah, since you mentioned the listening scale, maybe the most difficult question in this scale is the multiple choice question.
Yeah.
So a lot of students suffer from this type of question.
Yeah,
So maybe you can focus. Yeah, it's a little bit challenging. Yeah, so you can focus during, like, tests or during this particular kind of questions. And there are websites that allow you to choose a specific type, that, like, mini IELTS, for example. It's a small, friendly website. You can choose the type of questions that you want to focus on, like, for example, multiple choice, and it's going to show you the tests that include this question.
Okay, so can you tell us about this website?
Yeah, this website is actually for beginners, let's say, people who want to be a little bit familiar with the IELTS. Okay, it's called mini-IELTS.com. Yeah, okay. It does not, like, have full IELTS test, no, just sections. Okay, one reading passage, one listening section, something like that. It's something good to begin with. Okay, when you feel that you are good, you can move then to other. And of course, the most authentic source for studying IELTS is Cambridge books, because the Cambridge is the institution that is responsible of the IELTS test.
Yeah,
So
that's
their
right.
books are the most authentic. There are a lot of websites on the internet, but unfortunately, many of them have some kind of mistakes. The questions are a little bit different from the actual questions in the test. And so some students struggle actually with these websites. But with Cambridge books, you are almost expecting to see something as the one you practiced on.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mr. Anas. So
Yes.
let me ask you about tips and tricks. Can you just give students or candidates who are preparing for IELTS, can you just give them some tips and tricks when they study for IELTS?
Yeah. Okay, well, this is a very, very like long topic because we spent like about like 50 minutes during the course telling or talking about tips and tricks.
Yeah.
But for example, let's say for the listening skill, okay, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of like a good advice about how to manage your time. Okay, at the beginning of the test, the recording is gonna like tell you some instructions. My advice to you is just ignore these instructions because you have done a lot of tests, so they are the same instruction. They are telling you the test contains 40 questions, you need to answer it, you're gonna hear the recording once, okay? And start reading and highlighting the questions. Do not wait for the speaker to tell you to start reading, or maybe he says this sentence, okay, you now have some time to read the questions from 1 to 5 or something like this. So this is very important. And another important point, when the parts, or maybe part 1, each part actually, when each part ends, they'll give you some time to check your answers to that part.
Yeah.
Just take this time and move to the second part to read, especially if in the second part there is like multiple choice question, because there are a lot of things to read. Okay, and the 20 or 30 seconds that they give you at the beginning of that part are actually not enough for you to read, to go through everything. So you need to borrow some time from the previous section. So this is maybe time management, like trick for listening. Yeah, maybe for reading, let's say there are a lot of points, but what can we say? For example, for reading skill, so the answers in the passage comes the same order of all types of questions. For example, true false questions, okay? You have, for example, let's say five true false not given questions. You're gonna find the answers in the passage at the same order of the questions. So firstly, you're gonna find the answer of question number 1, then question number 2, then question number 3, and so on. Except 2 types of questions. The first one is matching questions, matching headings or matching statements. And the second type of questions is the labeling question, okay? With the labeling question, when you need to like name the parts of a machine or a tool or something, okay? The answers are not in order, but the good thing is that the whole answers are almost in the same paragraph. So if you catch, for example, the first answer, you're gonna go through the whole answers of the labeling question. They are in the same paragraph, or maybe if you have like short paragraphs, like in 2 adjoining paragraphs, something like this.
Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot for these tips and tricks.
You are so.
Okay, so let me ask you a different question. So you've been teaching IELTS for about 5 years. So do you remember a special candidate who got an exceptional band score or stuff like that?
Yeah, I have many actually. Yeah, I have many students. Yeah, I remember like one student who got 8, okay, overall score with 8.5 in the speaking skill.
Wow.
Yeah, she speaks almost like natives, and I was surprised with her. Not surprised. Yeah, I expected that she's gonna get a very high score, but not 8.5 actually. So yeah, she got overall 8, and the speaking skill she get 8.5. Yeah, she speaks very good, not very good, an excellent English with an American accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, and I guess maybe and many students get like 8, 7.5, and 7. Yeah. Well, actually, the main points in IELTS to get the score that you want, okay, or maybe the institution that you are applying to requires. So some of them, even if they are very good, for example, they want 7, only 7. So if they get 7, 7.5, that will be more than enough for them.
Okay, that's great.
Yes.
So, Dr. Anas, do you teach on-site or you just teach online?
No, I just teach online currently.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm busy during the days. I'm a little bit cannot teach on site.
Yeah. Okay, so you are teaching online. So do you remember a situation that you can't forget when you were teaching IELTS in these 5 years?
What do you mean by like a situation? Like
maybe a situation with a student, something special happened, you know. Of course, when we teach, we have special occasions, special situations, I mean, maybe special students.
some some like general usual funny things happen, of course, when a student forgets his mic open and you start hearing, like, for example, his mother yelling at him doing something, or and there was some kind of student, I remember that there was like a huge discussion between like family members about an issue, and they were yelling at each other. So I asked her to. She was a female student. I asked her to just.
This happens. This happens a lot.
I remember. Yeah, once. Yeah, I'm going to tell you about something.
Yeah. Okay.
I usually give a daily course, 2 hours every day. Okay, in the evening, and I give a break like for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like this. So during one of the breaks, I keep, of course, the Zoom meeting running, everything, but it's like nothing happening. Yeah. Okay. And I think I left for something, to buy something, or I went down for something. When I came back, I found my little child, Omar, okay, sitting on the computer and playing cartoon like Dragon Ball Z, something like this.
And they were watching.
All the students are watching. Are watching. Yeah. So when I came, it was like during. So I stopped it and I apologized to them. And some of them said, doctor, let him continue. Yeah, we need to know what happened yet next. Yeah, so things like this happens.
Yeah. Okay, so Dr. Anas, let me ask you about your course. Actually, when I checked your course, I found that you teach every day. So this is hectic, right?
Intensive. Yes.
So this is an intensive course in a month, just a month?
Yes, in 4 weeks. Yeah, it's an intensive course. Yeah, I teach each skill in 1 week. Okay, for example, listening skill. We start with the listening skill the first week from Saturday to Thursday. The following week is going to be for the reading skill, then the writing, and finally we're going to conclude with the speaking skill. So it's very intensive because I guess I think I need the most responsibility is based on the students' like shoulders. So I wanted to give him or her what to do, okay, and then ask them to do practice. Go apply these strategies that we took in the course. So if the course, for example, takes like 2 months, I think this is too much because I guess that's it's enough. Yeah, it's just my rule, my responsibility is to tell the student what to do. Okay, and the rest is upon his responsibility to practice, to apply this. So I guess that's 1 month intensive, telling them what to do, everything, and the sessions are recorded so they can return to them, okay, to any information they want, and then they can do some practice. Well, some students, as you said, think it's quite intensive, and I'm very flexible with that. I tell them, for example, you can take 1 or 2 skills with me in the current course, for example, the listening and the reading, and you can, for example, practice for 1 month, 2 months, and then you can join me again for
the other two skills.
the other 2 skills, the writing and the speaking skill. Yeah, so I'm flexible with that.
Yeah, you know, this is good because each trainer has his own style, you know, in teaching. So I really liked your style because it's intensive, but of course for some candidates they will think, oh, I can do all of that in just 1 month, but others will think, yeah, 1 month is good, maybe they don't have time or they have a tight schedule, something like that.
Yes.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Dr. Enes, for being with me. And at the end, do you have something you want to say for students or even teachers, English teachers who wants to start as IELTS trainers?
Well, thank you so much. Firstly, for students, I'm telling them to be patient, to put a lot of efforts, and not to be haste. Yeah, you need to wait. You need to do a lot of practice. For example, you need to solve, as I said, do 20, 30, 40 listening and reading tests. Don't just do 1 or 2 tests and then go to apply for the IELTS test and saying, well, I didn't get the score. No, you need to put a lot of effort. And sometimes you're going to reach a level that you feel that you are not achieving any progress. Don't make that let you down. No, just continue. Okay, you are on the verge of achieving something. Be patient, and I'm pretty sure that you're gonna achieve what you are aiming for. Of course, for the IELTS teachers, people who want to become IELTS instructors, I think you need to be well known about all aspects of the test, and be honest with your students. Yeah, we had many issues with some instructors who, for example, do not be on time. This is a problem. Who skip some classes. This is a problem. Do not answer questions or inquiries from his students or her students. This is also a problem. You need also to follow up with the students, with your students, to be everything clear, honest, and to be fully knowledgeable about every and each aspect of the IELTS test.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Enes. I'm really honored to have you today in my first episode from my podcast, IELTS Talks. And thanks everyone for watching us, and wait for us for next week. We're having also a very special guest from Egypt, and meet you next time, inshallah. So thanks a lot, Dr. Enes.
The honor is mine. Thank you.
Okay, so bye-bye, everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.